Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
Right hand, Golovkin steps in and down he goes again. Unbelievable. Mayweather makes him pay. What a rookie mistake. A sensational left hook by De La Hoya.
It's facts. I'm the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best. I'm going to show you how great I am.
From Southern California, this is the Last Round Podcast.
Okay, so here at Fox Studios for the second Wilder-Fury rematch press conference here in Los Angeles with Mark Kriegel here at Fox. You're never really on Fox, obviously.
I used to be on Fox.
You used to be on Fox.
Let me tell you something. All these guys talk stuff about, the other side of the street. The only guy who's actually worked both sides of the street is Mark Kriegel. I used to work for Fox. I used to work for Showtime,
right? And
I did a lot of PBC stuff, and now I'm obviously with ESPN. So I'm the guy I'm a trailblazer here. I'm just joking.
No, I mean, technically you are, like you said.
It's true.
Your opinion has a little bit more weight.
Not technically, but coincidentally.
So you were obviously on the Fox show. With Sean Porter and them. What'd you think about that experience?
The experience is great. Mm-hmm. Sean is a wonderful guy, like a role model for all champions to me. Mm-hmm. I've done pieces on him before. I like him, and Kate is great. Mm-hmm. I wish there were enough money on the table all the time that everyone would get together regularly. Mm-hmm. Funny thing about the presser, though, to me, and I don't know what your guys' take was, curiously subdued.
Mm-hmm. It was. Do you think that was on purpose?
No, I think that these things are spontaneous. It just happens or it doesn't. And maybe these guys are so tired of talking shit about each other that they realize we're at this point now. It really doesn't matter what we say or how we antagonize the other. But it was, I was taken with how subdued it was. The interesting thing to me, I thought Tyson was being absolutely straight up.
Right.
When he said, I've got to find a way to put Wilder on his back foot. And I do think, I'm not sure I really believe that I'm going to knock you out in the second round stuff.
Right.
I mean, he'll take it if it's there, obviously, but I do think that that's the key to the fight. He has to get inside and he has to penetrate the power zone of Wilder. If you stay outside, you'll get smoked.
It was funny because I thought that Tyson would use these press conferences to try to get under the skin of Wilder, because I thought one of the things he does very well is normally he kind of winds them up, especially someone like Deontay Wilder, because Fury is very good at banter.
It's great.
Whereas very quick.
It's a huge gift.
And I thought that he would do that to Wilder, so Wilder would come straight at him so he could try to counter him.
And I thought that one of the truly interesting components of the first fight was that Fury won the press conferences. Mm-hmm. And Wilder was the A side, especially then, going into that one. But he's kind of put him on his heels, and he made him upset. And I think that helped to some extent during the fight. One thing that we didn't have a chance to discuss, the one moment that passed, there was this long stare down.
Right.
And at the end of it, Wilder extends his hand to shake hands.
Right.
And Fury doesn't accept it. That was the one antagonistic moment I saw. But it wasn't the fireworks that we were kind of like cheering for, rooting for.
As a fan, kind of removing yourself from your, journalistic background and reporting background, do you think that having them kind of like a Mayweather character sell this fight on national television would have been a better course of action?
That's been Fury's role through this. He's great. You have the most powerful heavyweight in the world, and you have the most charismatic in Fury, and that's a lot of what this fight has been sold on. You need a huge ego to do the job correctly. I think that they'll be fine. The first fight was the most dramatic 12th round I can recall, and Fury reconfigures the division, the sport, the second he gets up. Most dramatic thing, I've seen since maybe Bo Holyfield won.
Wow.
Or Tyson Holyfield. The first one, not the crazy ear-biting one.
The ear-biting one.
Does Tyson have one of the largest, craziest stories that you ever looked at? Because obviously that's one of the pieces that you like to do. With, gaining so much weight, coming back, contemplating suicide, and then, in my opinion, he kind of won the first fight, so should have come back really and won the world title for a second time. Is that one of the craziest stories you've seen?
You get used to it, so you forget how extraordinary it is, but it might be the most improbable and redemptive story. Remember, his dad told him, "What are you, crazy? You're not ready for this. You're going to wind up a cripple." And obviously he did not. But I don't think that Fury actually knew how much he had left or where he still was until the moment he got up. And then the whole sport, you could feel it change. But the story's been told so many damn times, you forget, to your point, how goddamn extraordinary it was.
Right. So Bob Arum has said in the past, like after this fight was made, that they weren't really going to focus on press conferences. It was going to be, the promotional side of the Fox network, the ESPN network. But there's been 2 press conferences now. So what's going on there?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have an insightful answer for you.
I was hoping you did.
I mean, what do you mean? Like what?
Well, because Bob Arum, he obviously says a lot of things, and he says in past interviews within the last month or two that there wasn't any press conferences scheduled because the Fox promotional side of things and the ESPN and the Super Bowl coming up, they were going to use pretty much that force.
Yeah, Fury appeared at the bowl games. I'm sure there'll be like some Super Bowl heat. Look, you're not dealing with lightweights promotionally here when you have Disney and Fox.
Yeah.
You have the 2 greatest promotional engines known to sports.
Right. So there's really nothing behind that you know.
I mean, if I knew more, I'd probably give it up. I don't know.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, I'm disappointing.
No, it's okay. It's okay. And then we just had Steve Kim, one of your colleagues, on as well, and he had Manny Robles on his podcast recently. So Andy Ruiz obviously just split from Manny Robles. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't think it's on Manny. I think it's on Andy. You come in too damn fat, you lost your title. That's not on the trainer, it's on the fighter. You're partying, it's on the fighter, not the trainer. Manny got him ready the first time. To me, that's a classic example of the fighter not looking at himself.
Right.
Now, I don't know, maybe he can go get a better trainer or not, I don't know. But the first fight wasn't the trainer, and I wasn't overwhelmed with how Joshua fought in the return. I thought that he was tentative. He's a bigger, longer guy. He pecked and pecked and pecked, and he won, but he didn't seem to me overly ambitious, and it looked to me like he was waiting to get cracked and figure out, like, am I going to hold up? That was my read on it. What that does for this fight, however, is substantial in that I don't think that you can argue that the winner of Wilder Fury is not the baddest man on the planet.
Right. And then real quickly, I wanted to touch on, DAZN's obviously into the boxing game now, but they're taking the streaming service, because this is a joint pay-per-view promotion between Fox and ESPN.
Right.
Eventually, it's inevitable that DAZN and another network are going to have to do something like this.
Yes.
From your opinion,
and they should.
Being in the business, how would something like that work with a streaming service?
Look, listen, if the pot of gold is substantial enough, believe me, they'll find a way. I remember Arum telling me he gets a call from from the United States Attorney,
Right.
FBI. Hey, listen, we can't tell you who, but we've heard that there's an attempt. There could be an attempt on your life.
Oh, wow.
And they were investigating. He goes, oh, it's King. So King, of course, says, if I wanted to kill you, I'd kill you myself. The animosity, the bad blood between Arum and King in the 80s and the 90s was so intense. It's nothing. It's nothing like this. This is baby stuff compared to those guys. They got together, they worked it out, and even in my time at ESPN, look, we did Lomachenko Linares.
Right.
Now, it wasn't on a streaming service, but if the pot of gold is big enough, these guys will find a way.
Right.
Money talks.
No,
Yes.
That's right. That's right. And then from my personal perspective, you as a reporter, you've done all these pieces, like Mike was just talking to you off air, all these pieces you've ever done. You know, you kind of look more into the lives of fighters. Out of all the ones that you've done so far, which one has been the most interesting and intriguing to you, like as a person?
Geez, oh man.
Yes, I got it.
There were so there were so many. Top three would be Joet Gonzalez and Shakur Stevenson.
Wow. Very recent one, too.
Shakur was going out with Joet's sister. I recently did a profile of Teofimo Lopez that will stay with me, I think, for the rest of my life. And the way the kid opened up, like the balls to me that he showed in opening up, I'll never forget that. And the one that took me the longest, that was the hardest to do and very attached to, was a profile a few years ago of Terrence Crawford. So those are three. Those are top three. With the Joet Shakur probably number 3, and the other two, I don't know.
And one fighter that you haven't had a chance to do a profile on currently, or even maybe they're retired, who would it be?
I got to think of that one, man.
It's a hard one.
I got to think of that one. I mean, I've done on video or in print. Most of the guys around today, including Wilder and Fury in some respects, I'm going to have to get back to you, man. Maybe the next podcast.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
One I would like to see is Emmanuel Augustus.
Oh, Drunky Master. I thought about that one time.
I would like to see that just because everyone said that if he was with a bigger stable, like a Top Rank, and they pushed him, he had all the skills to do.
I'm good with anyone who like steps out of a kung fu movie. I'm good with that. I thought about that. One of the things that's difficult for me, time-wise, is I don't care who I write about, PBC or DAZN or Top Rank, but my schedule is driven by the Top Rank schedule.
Absolutely.
We have like 30 dates. I got to be in these cities on those dates, and some of these profiles take a long, long time.
Right. Well, Mark, they're wrapping us up here. So, if you want to go ahead and plug all your work that you're doing on social media real quickly.
I barely Twitter. Follow me on Twitter because no one else does.
At Mark Kriegel?
It's at Mark Kriegel, and Instagram, which I actually love, is Mark_Kriegel.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for supporting and listening to the show. Follow us at The Last Round 12 on social media. Rate, review, and subscribe. This is The Last Round